The heart monitor beside my son's bed beeped unevenly, a jagged rhythm, like a warning I couldn't react to fast enough. He was only 11, far too small for all those tubes and machines keeping him alive. The doctor called it a severe fall. I called it what it was, a mystery. No one had seen it happen. The school said he'd slipped from a second-floor railing, but my son never climbed railings. He was cautious, too careful for that. While I stood there, breathing in the sterile, chemical air of the hospital, my phone rang. My father. "Your brother's promotion party is tonight," he said. "Don't embarrass us." "Dad," I whispered, "my son is fighting for his life." "He'll be fine," he replied flatly. "Family comes first." Family. I hung up. Hours later, as the sedative began to fade, my son stirred. His eyelids fluttered open, dazed and lost. I leaned in close, holding his hand. "Hey, buddy. It's okay. You're safe." His lips trembled. "Dad, we have to go." "What?" He turned away, voice barely a whisper. "Because Grandpa said he'll hurt me again if I tell." Everything inside me froze. My body went cold before my mind caught up. "What did you say?" But he was already slipping back under, his tiny fingers squeezing mine one last time before going limp. I sat there all night, watching the machines breathe for him, listening to every beep like it might reveal the truth. My father, the man who raised me on silence and bruises, the man who used approval as reward and pain as language. For years, I convinced myself he'd change, that his cruelty was just discipline, his temper, tough love, that my brother and I were his pride. But that night, something shattered. Memories replayed in brutal detail. His hand on my shoulder that felt more like restraint. That cold, practiced smile at every dinner. The way he demanded obedience disguised as respect. And then my son's voice echoed again in my mind. "He'll hurt me again if I tell." Those words crawled through me like venom, rewriting everything I thought I knew about blood. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Men like my father don't fear anger. They feed on it. So I waited. I started asking quiet questions. My wife, the school, my brother. The story cracked fast. The fall had happened during a weekend my son spent at my parents' house. My father's idea of bonding. The school's version was a cover-up he'd arranged afterward. My brother admitted it in a half-drunken mumble. "Dad said," he tripped near the balcony, "said not to make a scene. Not to make a scene." Those same words he used on me when I was 7, after locking me in the basement for spilling milk. And now, he'd used them on my son. Rage sharpened, but it didn't explode. Rage was noise. Noise was useless. I became calm, focused, strategic. I requested the hospital security footage. Nothing. Deleted. I checked his emails. Found payments to a private clinic from weeks earlier. Behavioral correction sessions. Behavioral correction. He wasn't helping my son. He was breaking him. The same way he broke me. I knew what had to be done. The night of my brother's promotion party. I went. Suit. Tie. Smile. The perfect son. My father stood at the center of the room, drink in hand, his other hand resting proudly on my brother's shoulder. The same hand that left scars on both our childhoods. When he saw me, he smirked. "I knew you'd show up. You always do." "Family comes first," I said softly. He chuckled. "Now you sound like me." I smiled back. "I hope not." As the speeches ended, the projector flickered on. I'd offered to handle the AV setup myself. Told them I wanted to play a family tribute. Instead, the screen lit up with hospital footage. Unauthorized recordings. Not from the hospital cameras, but from a nurse's phone she'd accidentally left recording in the hallway. It showed my father dragging my son by the arm into a corridor. The boy crying, resisting. The slap echoed through the speakers. The room gasped. My father froze. The mask fell. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. He lunged toward the stage, but I stepped in front of him. "Don't," I said quietly. "It's already live streaming." His breath stuttered. "You don't know what you're doing." "Oh, I do," I told him. "You taught me to never embarrass the family." Then I turned to the audience. Meet the man who built his success on fear and obedience. He tried to speak, but his voice cracked under the weight of exposure. My brother stepped back. His colleagues turned away. I leaned close enough for only him to hear. I forgave you for what you did to me, but not for what you did to my son. He trembled, and right there his empire, built on silence and control, collapsed in front of everyone who'd helped him build it. I didn't file charges. I didn't need to. The footage spread like wildfire. His company forced his resignation within hours. His name, once a monument, was erased from its walls. My brother cut all ties. My mother said nothing. She never did. A week later, I visited my son. He was healing, smiling again. "Did you make him stop?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He nodded softly. "Can we go home now?" We did. As we drove past the old house, I didn't look back. That place was never home. It was a graveyard of obedience. And I'd already buried the man who ruled it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment.